lovely sustainable options, nice vegan options, lots of lovely food around, so I'm sure you've all found something beautifully tasty. And speaking of beautifully tasty, our wonderful next speaker here, we've got Charlie Brownridge. He's going to be talking to us about pioneering sustainability through innovative technology and responsible practices. He's had a lovely journey down from Leeds this morning to come and talk to us all and educate us on some wonderful things. So without further ado, over to you.
Thanks very much. Good afternoon, everybody. As just been said, I'm here from PMY Group. I'm here to talk about an experience that we had in a project last year, well, beginning of this year, where we were able to demonstrate our attitude towards sustainability and assist our head client and other suppliers involved in the project. By way of an introduction, PMY Group, we're a global events business, technical business. We turn over around 65 million globally, based in Australia and the USA, and also primarily here in the UK also. Over the years, the group, as a collective, we've been involved in some pretty amazing projects over the years, from large-scale sporting events like the Olympics to and the NFL Super Bowl, to some instantly iconic festivals such like Glastonbury Festival and British Summertime in Hyde Park. In the UK, PMY is represented by the combined event technology businesses of Spindlewood and Ether Live. And as a combined business, we provide things like the internet, IT networks, Wi-Fi, CCTV surveillance, and data capture. And we touch virtually most of the most iconic events here in the UK. As already been mentioned, my name is Charlie Brownridge, and I was the former managing director of Spindlewood. I'm now, for my sins, the general manager for PMY Group, for what we call temporary overlay, which is the combined businesses of Spindlewood and Ether Live. As you can probably tell, I've been in the industry quite a while, over 20 years, I think. I've been lucky enough to be going to Glastonbury for the last 15 years or so, similar to Winter Wonderland here in Hyde Park. And I was also involved in providing the technical stuff for the ABBA Voyage arena last year. So I'm here today to talk about our experience at another iconic venue, which is the BBC Earth Experience. And it's an experience of promoting sustainability. Now, it was massively important for the head client to promote the message of sustainability. And those of you who don't know, the BBC Earth Experience is a unique venue at the Dakin Centre, which is on the site of the former Earl's Court venue. It is a temporary structure, it's a temporary venue, and it's designed to be used again and again. So the experience itself, it's an opportunity to submerge yourself in a visual experience and experience the 7 continents of the world. It showcases the 7 worlds, 1 planet from the BBC Earth's Natural History Unit, and it's narrated by the instantly recognisable Sir David Attenborough. Sort of voice that when he talks, we all listen. As I said, it's a purpose-built venue, and it encompasses some floor-to-ceiling screens where the footage is then projected onto. It's truly an amazing experience. Unfortunately, my photographs don't really do it justice on the screen here. It's something you really have to experience for yourself. And it literally transports you from a venue here in London straight into the natural world. The venue, the idea was the idea of the company called Moon Eye Productions, and we partnered with them along with their principal contractor, ES Global, who we'd worked with at the ABBA Arena. So from the outset, due to the very nature of the project, it was critically important to the client to convey a global environmental message. The aim of it was to inform and inspire every single visitor to the attraction, and that was massively importantly. Equally, it was also important that the message could be conveyed throughout, and that included the construction phase as well. The entire project, including everything, all the materials used, the building itself, is being designed to ensure the lowest possible carbon footprint possible. And this meant that the client only could engage with reputable suppliers who had a genuine commitment to sustainability. And all aspects of the requirements for the attraction had to be considered, from the installation of the low carbon climate control system installed by the venue sponsor Dakin, to the installation of the internet, Wi-Fi and CCTV network that we were responsible for. It goes without saying that a project of this type, from the construction phase right through to today, benefits from 100% renewable energy, and all of the technical stuff, not just what we supplied, but everything within the venue, benefited from low energy technology. There's also a switch off, not standby policy, like we do at home, where we just click the TV into standby. It's a proper switch off policy of all electrical items not being used, not just overnight, but throughout the day as well. When they're not being used, it's a switch off. And then simple things like not selling single-use plastics at the venue shop. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, all of the materials, all of the technical stuff within the property, within the venue, including the venue itself, there are plans for a second use or certainly recycle everything that's involved. So from our perspective, we were able to partner with the head client and many of the other suppliers in order to contribute to the sustainable message. And this literally started right from the get-go. Unusually for me, we were able to get a very clear technical spec for the requirements of the property from the organisers, and this meant that we were also able to put our own input into it and help improve the spec wherever possible. And because we got a clear specification, unlike any other project that we've been involved with, it meant that there was no need for any site meetings. They were all held virtually, so all of the design, all of the quoting, the specification writing, there was literally no site meetings whatsoever. It was all done virtually, using detailed plans that the customer provided, things like Google Earth and other planning software that we use. Even the construction pre-start meetings and inductions for all of the engineers that were going to be carrying out the installation work, again, were all held virtually in order to reduce the amount of travel that everybody had to do. The detailed specification, of course, that we had an input to also meant that we could really optimize the network design. So on many other projects, we would possibly add maybe 20, 30, 40% extra. On this particular project, we were able to optimize all the cable runs and therefore reduce our cabling that we needed to purchase, and in some cases, some hardware as well. And all of the hardware that we specified, not just us, but other suppliers, it was all very specifically chosen for its low power consumption. As I mentioned earlier, the modern building design as well meant that it lends itself to optimized technical stuff like the IT network that we supplied, and also from a heating perspective, the modern design meant that it could be heated and ventilated optimally. We also supplied all of our system with our System Safe Off, or SSO, which is a program that automatically disables large parts of the network when not in use, certainly overnight, in order to reduce power consumption even further. One of the primary functions of our network that we supplied was to provide connectivity to other technology within the building, such as the Building Management System, or BMS. The BMS was used to efficiently control everything from the heating, ventilation, monitoring power consumption, and lighting. From a physical deployment point of view, as a business, we only selected engineers who lived local to the venue, who could use public transport in order to get to the site. What we also did was installed a high-speed internet connection right from the get-go, literally on day one. And this enabled us to configure large parts of our network and enabled suppliers to also configure large parts of what they were doing remotely. So we limited the amount of people that had to go to the site. Again, due to the clear specification, we were able to order all of the equipment needed to do the job from one supplier. Normally on a project of this size, we'd have to order from multiple suppliers. We'd often have the equipment sent to our depot first, and then all packaged up again and then sent to the venue. In this instance, because of the clear specification, we were able to buy from one supplier, and it got sent direct to the site without even having to come to our site first. As we do across all of our IT deployments across the summer, we were able to also implement our easy networking tool known as Tent. This makes the network configuration very easy remotely, again without having to send people to the site. We can configure, we can install it, and then configure large parts of it anyway remotely. The project, as I said, is a temporary project, and it is also expected to last there for several years. But we are 100% of everything that we have supplied has either got a second use or will be recycled. As a business, our efforts and attitude towards reducing our carbon footprint are not necessarily unusual. At the events and festivals where we provide a lot of our services to, we employ a lot of the sustainable practices that we employed at BBC Earth. The majority, if not all, of our equipment that we use is all now low power items, and we always deploy and test using batteries first, large parts of our networks to see if they're going to work before connecting them to the permanent power or a generator, which is often powered by diesel. In addition to our low power consumption items, including CCTV now, I'm of an age where CCTV cameras would once require nearly 2 amps worth of power in order to make them work. Nowadays, even CCTV cameras require much less power consumption, and as a result of that, we can consider alternative power sources such as solar. Once upon a time, solar wasn't reliable enough for us, but now, because of the reduction in power, solar energy is very much a usable and, most important, reliable form of power. The photograph on the screen is actually one of our Edge servers, which we deployed at the Boomtown Festival in the summer, which is gaining its power from a solar panel. The procurement of our equipment is also such that now we can provide a single delivery to virtually all of our sites. Again, once upon a time, equipment would go out to a site and then come back and then go out again and so on and so forth, whereas now we can send one equipment drop to a site and then it goes from site to site to site, thus reducing, again, unnecessary miles in a delivery vehicle. IT and all CCTV equipment is very delicate indeed, and certainly when we're deploying it on a festival site or an event site. And as a result, we've taken the opportunity to package all of our equipment so that it can withstand breakages, and that then obviously also preserves the longevity of that particular item. All of the temporary fibre that we install, we obviously re-reel and use again and again and again. And all of the other cable that we deploy, again, we gather it all up and we recycle 100% of it. We also subscribe to Equilibrium as a business, which means that we pay for trees to be planted in order to help offset any company mileage that we actually do. And we also now, as a result of this year, we also subscribe to the Bike to Work scheme. And many of our engineers on sites now, rather than use a van or a vehicle with a combustion engine, they'll use a bicycle in order to get around site. Our partnership with Moon Eye Productions and with BBC Earth and the support of the other suppliers demonstrates our commitment to sustainability using technical innovation. The powerful message on the screens projected using AV and IT in order to create awareness to everybody visiting the attraction is hope that will inspire and inspire positive change. As a result of the project, all of our staff have become much more aware and conscious about how we can reduce our carbon footprint. And by looking at everything that we do, we are more self-aware of what impact we have on everyday tasks. And as a result, we now plan all projects in a very similar way to what we did at BBC Earth. We've also instigated our own internal quality and environmental audits in order to look at what we do in more detail also, in order to, we believe that small things matter, so if there's some detail in there, we can also improve even further. And of course, we're always looking at ways to reduce, reuse, better still, not even purchase in the first place, across our entire business. Thank you for listening. I'll happily take any questions that you may have.
So I forgot to announce that we've got... I also forget I'm not allowed to walk in front of speakers. Sorry about that, everyone. Been a while. I forgot to announce we've got Slido over there, but if anyone does have any questions, let's go old school. Pop up your hand and I'll fling a microphone at you. There we go.
Hi, my name's David from Venue Tech Collective. When you're putting new tech into venues and you're trying to make sure they use less power, how much more money does that tech cost against those that, as a capital investment, rather than the current stuff that's already out there?
Once upon a time, if you were to go back a couple of years, it was a lot more expensive. We're very, very lucky in IT that a lot of the technology, by, you could say coincidence, but by sheer innovation alone, we're very, very lucky that virtually all of it is now low power. So in terms of, there literally isn't an option now to sort of have a device that's more high powered. So in terms of cost, it's nothing at all these days, nothing.
Do we have any further questions from anyone? Does anyone else want to go off to the BBC Earth experience now? That looks amazing.
It is good, yeah. It's as I said, my photos don't really do it justice. It's seeing is believing. It literally transports you from a venue in Earls Court literally into the natural world instantaneously. It's truly remarkable.
Who'd have thought that would ever happen to Earls Court?
Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Charlie. It's been wonderful having you here. Please, everyone, round of applause for Charlie.
Thank you.